Gervonta Davis is known to be one of boxing's most devastating knockout artists, building a super impressive record of 30 wins in 30 fights with 28 knockouts. But beyond that, it's now like the World Boxing Association lightweight champion is taking his boxing fierceness to his gym as he lost control in training and almost engaged in a brawl with his sparring partner. Strangely, Gervonta Davis has hardly taken a break after his win against Frank Martin as he resumed training with the Olympics team almost immediately.
I guarantee we touch the body, so.
And just after that, he's back to his gym with his coaches for his individual training sessions. More than ever, the world champion is ready to even take his career to the next level by fighting in a unification match. And in preparation for that, Gervonta Davis has been training rigorously. In his most recent training session, he was sparring an opponent clearly bigger than him. Hence, while Gervonta Davis would easily knock out sparring partners around his weight class, this particular one was a little tougher because of his size. While Gervonta Davis threw punches at him, he ate some of them successfully and fired back at Gervonta Davis. He was able to escape some of Gervonta Davis's punches and hit Tank with some good shots. It was at this point that the sparring session became a brawl. Once Tank was caught with a flurry of good shots, he became violent and launched at his sparring partner with fury. He went at him angrily and forcefully, and expectedly, his partner fired back as well, turning the ring into a mess. Immediately, Tank's coaches and other people in the gym got in to separate the pair. And while that was successful, there was so much to fear about the kind of Gervonta Davis that the world of boxing will be seeing in the coming month, as he's looking like a more dangerous beast than he's ever been. Before his fight against Frank Martin, we saw glimpses of this, but we all thought it was a casual stunt. His coach, Calvin Ford, and former promoter Leonard Ellerby both attested to the fact that the Tank Davis that returned from a 14-month layoff was a beast that had never been seen since his career began many years ago. Before his fight against Frank Martin, Gervonta Davis was absent during the media workout. However, his coach, Calvin Ford, was there to represent him. Speaking to Fight Hype, Davis's coach, Calvin Ford, urged people not to read into the no-show too much.
Business, y'all. You know, we've been waiting for this for a while. It's been a while since we've been in the ring. So we just want to come out and put on a great performance for the fans. It's all about the fans at the end of the day.
Well, we hear in prize fighting especially that it's about momentum. And when it comes to Gervonta Davis, I don't think you can have more momentum than coming into this matchup because of what he was able to do, especially during last year's super fight against Ryan Garcia.
I want to apologize to the fans, Ford said, killing the buzz that had built since the scheduled arrivals started some 90 minutes earlier. He can't make it at this moment because he's been delayed, but he's going to make it up to y'all on fight night. Trust what I'm saying to y'all. Y'all want to see this performance that he's going to put on to the fans. How long y'all been knowing Tank, man? I used to do the same thing y'all do. I stopped doing it. Let him just do what he does because at the end of the day, that's what makes Tank. I don't know how his body is. You know, sometimes y'all gotta go to work. Do y'all feel like it all the time? We are getting ready to roll out to the world. Asked if he would make the press conference, Ford was optimistic.
A press conference. Let's look at history. Let's look at the stats.
For sure.
So, you know, again, but how many times y'all came here, y'all, he did, one time he did showed up at one of these.
I've never seen Tank missing a press conference. Let's look at history. Let's look at the stats. Finally, Calvin Ford then warned Frank Martin on behalf of his absent fighter, Gervonta Davis, saying, "We're back in business. We've been waiting for this for a while." Ford said of Davis's first fight back after 14 months, "We want to put on a great performance. We want to put on a great performance for the fans at the end of the day."
And for the fans, you know, do the conspiracy theory, there's no concerns, you know.
No, we great.
Yeah.
We great. Trust me. Y'all want y'all guy to come out and put on that show for y'all. Trust me. Because I'm looking for that fight where we had back in the days when y'all said, yo, that was an epic fight.
Watching him in camp, it scares me because of the things he's doing and his maturity when he gets in that ring. He'll hurt Frank Martin. I've seen him listen to a conversation, listen to what's going on, and he's real focused. However, Gervonta Davis, while the grand arrival was going on, was spotted out on a run in Vegas at the time of the grand arrivals. Leonard Ellerby was even more bullish on Davis. When you look at the younger generation, there is one name that rings everywhere. Tank Davis, said Ellerby.
Davis a monster. Canelo ain't scared of him.
Well,
It's just business at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, like, because there's people who are beginning to believe the fight will never happen. And I kind of refuse to believe that because Canelo, every time we say he won't fight someone, he inevitably does and shuts everyone
Man,
up.
boxing, this shit is different. It's about...
He's the most exciting and dominant fighter in the entire world. When he steps into the ring, he wants to make sure he gets their ass out of there. He doesn't want unanimous decisions. He gives fans exactly what they want to see with an edge-of-the-seat performance. You know he's going to get a knockout at some point in the fight, and it will be no different Saturday night. Making a rather controversial statement about the Tank Davis versus Frank Martin fight, Leonardo Ellerby claimed Tank will ultimately deal with his opponent. During the final press conference for this weekend's fight between Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, Mayweather Promotions former CEO Leonard Ellerby took to the podium to explain to the public why Martin might be in over his head against Davis. Two things that kind of stand out to me over the last week or so that's been said, Ellerby said.
Great shape because Derek's a phenomenal trainer. But let's be real. Let's be real. Okay, for starters, in 2017, do you know what Tank was doing? Tank became world champion. You know what Frank Martin was doing?
One is coming from Frank Martin's promoter, Errol Spence Jr. He says that Tank Davis is going to get dominated for 12 rounds. Dominated? Errol, don't believe that dumb stuff, I can promise you that. And then Frank Martin says, oh, I'm gonna beat Tank's ass. Okay, he's in tremendous shape. We know Derek got him in great shape because Derek's a phenomenal trainer. But let's be real. For starters, in 2017, you know what Tank was doing? Tank became world champion. You know what Frank Martin was doing? He wasn't even professional yet.
He wasn't even professional yet. Okay? So one thing about this boxing shit, you can't skip steps. It's something what we call experience. And doing...
He continued, so one thing about this boxing stuff, you can't skip steps. It's something we call experience. And you gain that over a period of time by fighting the top fighters and doing your thing. Again, I can't say enough. I personally think Frank Martin is a good fighter, but there's a difference between being good and being special. Everything that Frank Martin does is good, Tank does better, and come Saturday night, don't blink, cause this tea could be over early. However, Gervonta Davis was ready to unleash the brewing anger and frustration that saw him through his 14-month hiatus from boxing. He looked ready to unleash all of his wrath on the Ghost. And should things go as he planned, he's set to have the most devastating knockout victory ever, looking to be even better than that of Leo Santa Cruz. In a recent feature with PBC, he looks back to his 24th fight against Leo Santa Cruz when asked his best stoppage. Leo Santa Cruz. In training camp, I was running everything for Leo. Every single thing for probably like 2 or 3 months. I knew that his output would be high, right? So I knew my output would need to be at least as high or close. And I had to pick my shots. Because of what type of fighter he was someone that's not gonna stop. And if he feels like you're breaking down, that's gonna give him the edge to pick up. They felt that I was gonna break down, but I was on my job so much that I was ready for everything that he threw. Tank took 2 right hands to his guard from Santa Cruz, who was backed onto the ropes. On the 3rd shot, Davis dipped to the left and threw a pinpoint uppercut with power straight from his boots. It crumpled the WBA super featherweight champion and spelled only his 2nd career loss.
Once again, things heating up already for this main event, the WBA Lightweight Championship.
As much as the shot was worthy of any highlight reel, Tank also relished his audience. He smiled as he set the scene. I wound up knocking him out in front of his dad in his corner, so it was crazy. Speaking ahead of his fight this weekend, he said, "Come June 15th, I ain't ready with a load of talk. Martin's a front runner. They think they are thugs and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, it's a different beast in front of him. It's a different beast. Nobody is going to be able to save him on June 15th. and it's a lot of stuff built up. It's a lot built up, and I'm going to take it out on him. I'll see y'all June 15th.
Of the world. Fighters, take your seats.
I ain't none of it. 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 It's time. For sure.
We'll have a chance.
This will probably be my second time fighting here, but I remember coming to watch Floyd versus Cotto, and I walked through the front door, and I saw all the celebrities and things like that, mink coats on and things like that. I always wanted to be a part of something like this, so I'm just grateful to be in this position, and also to be on this card with another young lion like myself, and to give the fans what they want to see. Speaking at the press conference, the challenger Frank Martin said, "It's a blessing just to be here," said the challenger Martin, who sounded more relaxed. "It's a blessing just to get this type of opportunity to come here and show the world what I'm about. I've got to say hats off. I appreciate Gervonta Davis for even taking the fight. I believe they messed up by taking the fight, but I do appreciate them giving me this opportunity to show the world what I'm about. I'm ready to go out and shock the world and do what I do what people think I can't do."
Team is going down, you know what I mean? We here, you know, like I said once before, I appreciate Tank giving me this opportunity to come whoop his ass come June 15th. It's on, you know what I mean? He ain't been in there with nobody like me. I'm coming different, you know, when you say, Kyle, when you say push them buttons, I'm gonna push every button that he got on his ass. Every one, you know what I mean? So
it means everything to fight for a world title. I've been working for it. I've been the underdog in this since I started from the beginning. I've been watching everything. I know how his nonsense walks. I'm going to touch his butt up. I know how he and his whole team walk. As for his next fight, Davis claims he is certainly not scared of the high-profile names, so it's no surprise to hear the recent rumors about him potentially fighting Shakur Stevenson. While most expect a very even fight, Davis's team doesn't believe that will be the case.
What happens when plan A don't work? We done worked on this game plan the whole training camp. Plan A don't work. Plan B, I ain't getting no success with plan B either. Plan C, oh shit. I know that fucking Doug is gonna break loose and he...
Tank's trainer, Kenny Ellis, recently spoke about the potential fight and is adamant that Davis has something that Stevenson simply doesn't: power. They can't be 50. 50 if Tank can punch and Shakur can't punch. Let's say Tank is behind and he's got to get himself out of trouble, and that mother F King Hammer is going to get him out of trouble. Now let's say Shakur's behind and he's got to get himself out of trouble. How's he going to get himself out of trouble? He doesn't have a hammer. Via Cigar Talk on YouTube, Ellis does concede that Stevenson can box and has great IQ, but he claims Davis does too. Tank's trump card is his incredible power, which Stevenson simply doesn't have or hasn't shown it to this point so far. Ellis ended up taking it a step further, really laying into Stevenson and giving him no chance. Tank is faster, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's smarter. He ain't got nothing on Tank. If it goes 12 rounds, I'm walking away from boxing. Shakur Stevenson, however, will defend his World Boxing Council lightweight world title against Joe Cordina on October 12th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as part of the main event featuring Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol.
Don't do that, because he's not gonna let you fight Tank.
Whoa. See, he contradicted himself. Bill,
I'm telling
Bill Kenny.
Bob Bram is not gonna let
Bill Kenny, you contradicting yourself, Bill Kenny.
Why does Bud leave him?
That's cool. Why?
In a mocking attempt to make fun of the fight, Gervonta Davis's co-trainer Kenny Ellis tweeted on Instagram saying, "Get your tickets now." As soon as Stevenson learned of the comment, he took to social media to respond to Ellis, posting a screenshot of Ellis's daughter's 7-3 record and teasingly saying, "Come on, at the rate Coach Kenny Ellis, stay focused." Stevenson expressed his belief that 3 defeats in 10 fights are too many. Shakur is trying to rise to fame and prepare for a potential matchup with Tank Davis. His stock has fallen as a result of his recent poor performances against Artem Harutyunyan and Edwin de los Santos. Thus, he wants to boost his popularity. Due to a recent 8th-round knockout loss to Anthony Kakachi on May 18th, Shakur will not benefit in any way from defeating the 32-year-old former IBF super featherweight champion, Cordina. Boxing fans have already harshly criticized Shakur for selecting Cordina for several reasons. Whatever level of dominance Shakur achieves over Cordina, it will never compare to that of Kakachi, who was all over him in that fight, punching and beating the live daylights out of him. Shakur doesn't fight in that manner. and he will probably use boxing to win in 12 rounds. Since Cordina hits too hard, Shakur can't risk battling the way Anthony Kakachi did. He lacks bravery. Shakur is too risk-averse to fight in that manner, while Kakachi took some heavy hits in that fight in exchange for knocking down Cordina in the 8th. Stevenson, who is 22-0 and has 10 knockouts, will try to win the title for the second time. Last month, he successfully defended it via a unanimous decision over Artem Harutyunyan. Coming off his first career defeat, Cordina lost the International Boxing Federation's super featherweight world title to Anthony Kakachi via technical knockout in the 8th round in May. As for Gervonta Davis, after Vasily Lomachenko canceled on him, it's been said that he would take on Shakur Stevenson instead, although there are several conditions that must be met before we witness the pair come together in the ring.
I stopped 2 weeks ago. I just stopped going back and forth. But they grown men. They know if they want to fight or not. You know what I mean? All that back and forth shit. I ain't with that shit. It is what it is, you know? Just know it wasn't us.
I mean, listen, like I tell people before, as fighters, those two, going at it, throwing, they want to, that's acceptable. That's expected in the game, in the level of where they're at.
The fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson pits two world champions with extremely different approaches to boxing against each other. It is without doubt one of the highest level fights to be made in the sport. Tank Davis has knocked out all but 2 men who stepped through the ropes with him, often giving away rounds early in order to close the distance and unleash when the time comes. Stevenson does not give away rounds. In fact, he makes it his business to win comfortably without taking much back at all. According to CompuBox, opponents land on him on average just 3 times per round. Davis holds the World Boxing Association lightweight world title and Stevenson the World Boxing Council, so the fact that it's a unification makes it all the more intriguing. When the latter split from Top Rank after a long promotional deal, fans thought there would be no obstacles in the way of making the bout happen. While Stevenson hasn't announced his next business move, he has been pictured with Riyadh Season's Turki Alalshik, who is fast becoming the most influential man in the sport and will likely end up on his next event, perhaps through Eddie Hearn's Matchroom. However, in an interview with Mill City Boxing, Tank's co-trainer Kenny Ellis said linking up with the man from Saudi Arabia makes the fight less likely.
I don't really like to talk about shit, especially when I know these guys are like my family, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Just different times and different places. Everybody got, you know what I'm saying? But these guys are like my family, bro. So it's like, it's
But I gotta say one thing. When I talk, not saying you was talking about me, Zap. I don't make up no stories. When I witness something, this shit is facts. And, I said some things recently that was facts, man.
For Shakur, Turki Alalshik is more like protective custody, because Shakur doesn't need him to make that fight, and if he does go with him, he is not gonna fight Tank. So it's like PBC for real, My opinion. Asked for the details as to why the fight wouldn't happen, especially given Alalshik expressing that he is keen to work with Tank, Ellis wouldn't elaborate. I don't want to go all into it. That's just a way out, man. I wish Shakur the best with his next move. If he should fight Tank next year or this year, whenever they fight, I hope he's still undefeated. Keep the value of the fight. I believe we would still fight him if he loses. But is it still the same? Stevenson is expected to return later this year with former super featherweight world champion Joe Cordina, now the front-runner to take the opposite corner. Davis's next dance partner is unknown, but he could be back in the ring in November. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.